Hey everybody, welcome to So Awkward. It's me, Don, and I'm sitting alone here in the dark in my car because I just got out of the movie theater because I just saw Ready Player One, the new film by my favorite filmmaker, Steven Spielberg. I didn't really like it. I don't even know where to begin, man. This was just a weird movie. I didn't like it. I didn't hate it. I'm not gonna tear it apart. It wasn't for me. Visually, it was neat. There were some good intentions, some interesting and some good acting performances, some really good cinematography, some clever ideas. I didn't find it entertaining all that much. But when the credits rolled, people in the theater applauded. So I'll say that. I'm not going to recommend it myself, but the people in the theater applauded, so somebody liked it. I love Steven Spielberg. I've seen every Steven Spielberg movie, except for the BFG. I keep meaning to see it. I'm not a cartoon guy, although I did like Tintin. I've seen almost every one of his films in the theater, even several that came out before I was born. I've seen re-releases of them in the theater. I missed The Post, his most recent movie, because I didn't even realize that it had come out, and then it was kind of gone. Maybe it's still in the theater, I don't know. They kind of put that one out there to get an Oscar. Did it get an Oscar? I don't even know. I wish I'd seen The Post, because this movie wasn't for me. I probably would have really liked The Post. Is that even what it's called? Am I thinking of The Postman, that Kevin Costner movie? I didn't see that one. I tried reading the novel, Ernest something, because it was kind of a popular novel. And I got a quarter of the way through it, and I guess I threw it away. It read like really terrible fan fiction, where somebody I'm going to make a novel with, the Breakfast Club meets Back to the Future, meets the internet, and Doom, and Master Chief will be in it. And it was just dreadful. This movie felt like a very faithful representation of the novel, which I didn't care for, so I didn't care for this movie. But bestseller, Ernest Cline, that's the guy's name. The movie's about the Oasis, which is the internet, but it's virtual reality. Remember when that was a thing? And then there's this guy who invented it. You get these puzzles, and there's a key, and you got to do these tests to do the blah blah blah. I don't know. It was about the movie was about 2 hours long. 2 hours of my life I won't get back. I'm not gonna say that. I was somewhat entertained, kind of. Visually it was really cool. I didn't like any characters, and there was not a story to care about. There were no stakes. There was no reason for me to root for the hero to win this contest and gain control of the Oasis, a big video game. And there was no reason for me to root against the villain, who was also trying to take control of the Oasis. The worst thing we really saw him do was he wanted to put ads in the Oasis. He says this really funny line where he says something like, "Yeah, and our researchers say we can fill up 80% of the screen with ads before the user has a seizure." It's pretty funny. I actually really liked the villain. I kind of was rooting for him because I don't know who the actor was, but he was really good, and he was really funny and entertaining. I liked every scene with him. I liked every scene with Mark Rylance, who, in this movie, if this is the only movie you've ever seen with Mark Rylance, you'll think he's not a good actor. But then if you see any other movie, he's He's an amazing actor. He's great. Very good. The other actors were fine. Most of the movie takes place in the Oasis, and it just looks like a video game. But as I said, I didn't care about anything. I didn't care who won, who lost. I didn't know. We didn't see enough of this future, which seemed like some kind of dystopian society. We didn't learn enough about it to really care either way. They kept giving little hints here and there. There's some rebellion against somebody who's doing something, and then I don't know, and then it was just kind of over. Here's my problem with this movie. This movie was built on and contained all these references to like Atari 2600, The Breakfast Club, Ferris Bueller, Madballs were in there, Star Wars, Tang, all these things that if you understand all these references, you're an old person like me. And then, so this movie was designed to be enjoyed and understood by people who are too old to understand or enjoy this movie. It was just noise. I'm an old man. I played the Atari. I played Adventure. I had Madballs. I saw Ferris Bueller in the theater more than once. This movie was just a bunch of noise. It was just a bunch of art. Spawn was in there. Nobody in the year 2065 is going to remember Spawn. Nobody in the year 2065 is going to be listening to Huey Lewis, except for maybe me. There was a car chase scene in the beginning that was kind of cool, where like King Kong attacked the cars, and I guess that was neat. But for the most part, the scenes that I enjoyed were the scenes outside of the Oasis, or just in the Oasis where there were just two people talking. Because the acting was good, and Spielberg always gets really good performances out of his actors. But all this stuff, like in the Oasis, there's this huge battle at the end that I didn't give a shit about. I couldn't tell what was happening. Iron Giant was fighting a Gundam who was fighting like Mechagodzilla, and it was all boring, and I didn't care. I didn't care who wins. I didn't care who loses. Like there's everybody, like there's the actors, and they put on these suits, and so then they have their avatars in the Oasis, and then sometimes the camera shows them like in the real world, like with the headset on, going like this, and it's really hokey. And then there's like the scene where our hero falls in love with like the girl, but it's just they've only met each other's avatars in the game. She says, "You don't even know who I am or this isn't what I look like. You'd be so disappointed." And then when later we meet the actress, who's like the real human counterpart, and we see the actress, and she's like 1,000 times more gorgeous than her avatar. Oh, but she's got like a little birthmark, so she's hideous. And that kind of sums up this movie. It's just, even the scenes in the real world didn't seem like the real world. Here's the thing. Here's the bottom line. Like, we've got the DeLorean in this movie, from Back to the Future. And there's lots of little things, like we see, like, they talk about the Millennium Falcon, and Tab, or whatever. But, like, let's talk about the DeLorean from Back to the Future. Back to the Future is a timeless classic that's beloved. And I absolutely believe in the year 2065, or whenever this takes place, people will remember fondly Back to the Future. Not because of the DeLorean, but because it's a great movie about lovable characters with a great story about the differences and similarities between a family's generations. It's a love story. It's a story about a family coming together against all odds that happens to have a really cool DeLorean that goes back in time. This movie takes those little things that, look, the DeLorean. You guys love that DeLorean. I don't care about the DeLorean. I like Marty McFly. I like Doc Brown, But I mean, there was some neat stuff. I liked the bad guy, and there was some neat action. Although most of it just gave me a headache, and because I didn't care about the story, I didn't care about the action. There were a couple neat set pieces like in the middle of the movie. Like, I'm not going to spoil anything in case you see it, but there's one scene where they go into another movie, and I'm not going to tell you what movie it is, but they recreate like the movie. I don't know if they digitize footage from the movie or if they actually build a set from that movie, but it was flawless and it was really fun and clever. I wish more of the movie had been fun and clever instead of just loud and over the top, and I don't want to say pretentious, I would say precious. Like the movie, like the book was like precious. Like, oh, and then Judd Nelson from the Breakfast Club comes out of the room, and then star wipe, and then we see the Care Bears. Like, that's like how the book read. And it works a little bit better as a movie where you just see like Judd Nelson in the background. It'll be interesting for me to see if this is a hit. I think it'll probably be number one for this weekend, because what the hell else is coming out? Maybe for next weekend? I don't know. I don't see this as Spielberg's big blockbuster comeback. What made Spielberg movies so great back when he used to make big blockbusters, which this is an attempt to be, was when they had heart. Like Jaws had heart. The Indiana Jones movies had heart. Mola Ram held it up and showed it to us. We knew that movie had heart. This movie doesn't have heart. Or maybe I'm just old and crabby. Which is true. I am. But if you get references to the Atari 2600, chances are you're old and crabby. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody, and comment down below what you thought of this movie. What did you think? Are you going to see it? Did you love the book? I don't know. How wrong was I? Did you applaud? Anyway, later. Bye. It's creepy. It's creepy.